Pit Stop by Anita Williams. As rubber grips with steel and turns, drones and roaring tyre burns, we stand in awe to watch the race. Silverstone, the track, the place, a circuit bathed in history, where many have yearned their victory, hosting the fame of British Grand Prix, where legends walk and thrills spill free. Since 1948, they've let spectators through the gate to savour the moments fit for kings, those drivers sprouting pleasure wings. Maybe it's because its might is built on a former bomber site. Yes, RAF once owned the ground, a World War II station renowned. How fitting that those engines soar through practice laps and grid lines roar, vying for places off the pole. Every driver's heart and soul. Grueling pits, a myriad of tyres, maggots on fire and hanger-straight flyers. We sit glued to the action at bend and chicane. Unpredictable weather, first sunshine, then rain. Wheel-to-wheel combat. Commentators are hoarse as they focus on athletes honed in for their course. That check flag waving. All too soon it's all over, and the podium 3 will reflect from the clover.
You weren't expecting that, were you? Eh? That little intro there, aren't we lucky? We'll find out about that in a minute. 6 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Welcome to round 3. Round 3, the spirit of Great Britain. We're here at Silverstone. We've had Japan last week. We had Germany the week before. Before we crack on with the last 6 minutes of qualifying, let me introduce you to our number 2 commentator this evening. It's No Brakes Blake. How are you doing, No Brakes?
Hello, good to be here.
Wonderful. How about that? Now look, I can't call you No Brakes Blake, so I've decided I'm going to call you BB. So
okay, or Blake,
or Blake, or Break, BB, Break or Blake. We'll talk more about you later on. It's fantastic to have you with us. I know that the admin staff of RWB, myself, the other commentators, we're over the moon to have you with us. We'll talk more about you later on. We'll find out what is your love and your passions and what you want to get out of this. Let's get into the initial or the closing stages of qualifying. Let's tell people where we are and why we're here. Round 3. This is the GT3 Spirit of Class in Assetto Corsa Competizione. Silverstone, near Towcester, Northamptonshire, central England, about 90 minutes north of London, an hour south of Birmingham. Silverstone is declared the home of British motor racing. This is a Grade A FIA circuit which can be morphed into 9 other circuit layouts with just a few cones and a couple of tyre walls. It also provides an infield rallycross and motocross circuit put in a few years back, and this is a 3.6 mile, 5.8 kilometre GP circuit. It's got 17 turns, 9 right, 8 left, 16 of these named. Hurrah! Hurrah! Poor old No Brakes Blake thinks that she's got into a commentary room with an absolute nutter at this stage. The thing is, BB, is that a lot of tracks just have T1 to T21, and or whatever, and I just think that's lazy. Give a corner a name, eh?
Yeah, they need to be named after important people, or about the geography or the history attached to it. Surely that gives it character. Absolutely,
it does. Now, what about this circuit? We've got one inverted parabolica. Do you know what a parabolica is, BB?
No, tell me.
Parabolica is a corner of equal radius. So actually, it's, you know, like a half circle. It's like a half semicircle. That's a parabolica. So if you have an inverted parabolica, as we've got at Luffield, then that means one of the legs, either in or out, is at an angle acute. So Luffield, for example, the entry into Luffield is acute, and so this is an inverted parabolic. If it's the other way around, it'd be I can't remember. Anyway, one S's section, Maggots and Beckett's. We got one chicane, one hairpin. We've got 4 straights. 4 straights around here, and they're all significantly long enough that you can get some serious speed around here in these GT3 cars. It's one of the fastest circuits on any calendar. Used to be known as RAF Silverstone, as some of you know. I'm sure BB will talk to us later on during the race about the track, etc. But you know, if you don't know Silverstone, you probably don't even know what your own name is, which is very, very unlikely. Now we're currently with Damien, and here we are. We're along the main. Oh, Damien, what are you doing?
Oh,
let's go
goodness.
with someone else. Okay, let's pick someone. Let's go with Mad Al. So we're with Mad Al. We're going to have a quick zip around the circuit. We'll leave these corners, etc., until we're coming on the main start-finish straight. Here we are, coming out the penultimate corner. We're coming along underneath the gantry there. Start-finish now. Along the start-finish straight. First corner here. Oh, for the love of God. Get a grip, fellas. Come on. Right, okay. With Crookshanks around the first corner through. That was the village. We're now into the loop, and what we're doing now is we're coming along right hand side, a little bit of a junction there, used to be known as Aintree. Now we're on Wellington Straight, named as such because there used to be a couple of hangars along here with Wellington Bombers. This place during World War II hosted Wellington Bombers for night training, night bombing raid training. Loads of understeer there. Into Luffield, the parabolic I was talking to BB about. The exit on a lot of people get this corner wrong, BB, because I think it's a 90 right or something. It's not. It's a parabolica. Sweeping out now through Woodcote, keeping it tight on the right hand side. You see Crookshanks almost clip the doodah. Into the right hander here at Copse. Extending out to the left. Now we're coming into the S's section, the Maggots and Beckett's. Into Maggots here. Left, right, exiting Maggots here. Into Beckett's. Nice and tight on the apex. Swoop out to the left. Keep it tight on the left hand side. Swoop to the right. Through the end of Beckett's. Underneath Chapel Curve. Along Chapel Curve, underneath the bridge. We're now along the Hanger Straight, over to the left-hand side here to take what is Stowe. Into the apex around about now, clipping the apex, coming wide to the left, down the hill, through Vale, and into the chicane. Left entry, right exit, and into what is the final corner, Club Corner. And along the main straight. We'll just take this up to where we joined him. We're along the main straight, underneath the gantry, into the first corner at T1, which is Abbey. Right-hander, quite fast, flat out. Left-hand curve now, known as Farm Curve. And into the 90 right, known as Village. It's actually an offset 90, so as you come into it, it feels more than 90 degrees, unless the attitude of your car is exactly the same as the attitude of the track. There you go. That is one lap of Silverstone. Look at that, 0-0. What do you think so far, BB?
Yeah, there's so much variety there. And what do you reckon is the most lethal of all the turns?
Oh, that is such a good question. I think it all depends on what car you're in, I think for me, all 16 turns. I think for a lot of these guys, they'll probably argue actually that none of them are really lethal as such. I think if you get Copse right, then actually you can add a lot of time. Your speed through Maggots and Beckett's, the S's section, is very, very important that you get that right. And I think a lot of the guys are very good at the chicanes where, you know, historically a lot of us lose a lot of time at. So, and then finally, of course, Luffield, the parabolica. I mean, most parabolicas need to be taken in a certain way to exploit it to the best of the corner's ability to give you the maximum time. So to answer your question, I think that there's probably the fastest corner out there is Copse, but I think that there's a multitude of corners out there. It's so varied, this track, and so loved because of that. I think real racing drivers and sim racing drivers love this track. Purely because of the amount of straights and the challenging nature of Silverstone. But of course, once you've gone round here 20 times, well, everyone's an expert.
Definitely.
Cool, excellent.
But yeah, Luffield does look like a challenging one there.
Yeah, it is.
You know.
It is, yeah, most certainly. Good. Now, who are we looking out for today? Well, crikey. Well, first of all, I'm showing here nearly 40 drivers. Let's have a look at the timetable, whether... actually, I think, actually, at this stage, I have to... Well, no, I don't. Return to garage. I'm wondering whether I can scroll down. So, yeah, there we go. Look at that. So, we've got... Goodness gracious me. We can't have 59 out there. I think we've got 37 out there at the minute. And we can see they're qualified. Jake Moore, Speed Demon, has qualified at 2 minutes. Cool. Excellent. Right. Let's... what's happening now is there's a bit of a wait time, essentially. They're all in the pits there. This is their last time to get a last cup of tea and a bit of a stretch. And here they are now on the main straight. Let's go for a top covered shot. Now what happens is, BB, they're going to have a manual start, and they'll go around the last corner, which of course the last corner here is club, essentially. I think where we are now, let's have a little, just jump in the cockpit with Speed Demon. Yeah, so we're at, crikey, is that club? Should be club. I think it is. No. Well, we'll see in a minute. We'll stay in the cockpit with Speed. Looking at the wing at Speed, you can see back to everybody there. Holy moly, there's a lot of cars there. 37 cars. Fantastic grid out. This has been a really popular series. And I'm willing to put my money on Jake Moore, Speed Demon. But don't discount Nippon in second place and Allenby in third place. Few top runners out there. Marco Badowski, certainly we need to be watching out for him. Cassotti, we saw him before we went live. He was looking fairly quick. So yeah. Yeah, indeed, in YouTube. Who would drive that? Ugh. A pink Aston Martin. I'm just not brave enough, BB.
No, because of course in this race all the cars are British cars, is that right?
That's very good. Yeah, absolutely right. All the cars are British cars. So in this sim we've got the Aston Martin V12 Vantage, we've got the Bentley Continental, we've got the Emile Frey Jaguar, and the McLaren 650S. So all the cars are British. Which, as I said, which is such a popular series to sort of narrow the car choice down to those which would come from the country, which is fantastic. Really good.
Which do you reckon is the most popular choice of car? I guess we can't tell right now, but...
well, we probably can. I think it's probably McLaren. Oh, I don't know. Oh, and it looks like Nippon has got off very quickly. Oh no, sorry, that's Jake Moore, isn't it? Yeah, Nippon in second place. Jake Moore on the right-hand side there, Nippon in second place. Yeah, it was coming through club. They're now along the main start-finish straight. And... yeah, this is club. Yeah, that's right. What is it? Hang on, wait a minute. I think on the other way around. Okay, so they're off. Yeah, this is into Abbey. In fact, no, this is the old start-finish straight. That's interesting. They've done that into Beckett's and Maggots, or Maggots and Beckett's. Sorry. So we're at the top end of the track. That's quite interesting that we didn't start at the normal sort of PT, the new track. On the wing with Jake, we can't really see a great deal there, but let's just check that everyone's getting through. Beautiful sight. Oh, and quite a few cars there having problems. Looking at Audi at the back there, there's quite a few going on back there. I'm not sure whether we can have a quick 30-second rewind. Let's do that. Let's try and get a wide shot, see whether we can pinpoint somebody. Now when we're on these wide, oh, we can see going into Maggots and Beckett's here, 2 and 3 wide in some places. Got a couple of cars in front there just coming off the track at Beckett's. Yeah, the yellow Aston there, the white Aston, the blue Aston as well, the Bentley. Quite a few cars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 cars essentially going through Maggots and Beckett's. The S's section ended up falling off the track. Cool, right, okay, looks like Menacing Skull retired of his own accord, having pedal troubles. Oh dear, hardware problems. Rundown, Jake Moore in first place, currently running out there in first place. Although, actually, no, that's just now changed to Napone. Napone in the pink Aston Martin. Napone, for the love of God, please. There are 1,000,001 colours in the spectrum. There's more than just pink. He likes pink, so I suppose we shouldn't.
It's a very nice strawberry milkshake kind of shade.
Look at that. I mean, it's just... All those in favour of pink being thrown in room 101, say aye in YouTube. We'll move on. Napone in first place. Jake Moore, Speed Demon, in second place. Then, of course, we've got Allenby in third place. Jensen Ruling in fourth place. And Badowski in fifth place, who we saw just do very well in the GT4 series, actually. I think he ended up having problems in the end. This group of 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, going through Beckett's almost in their own little pocket, really. If we look on the wing with Badowski, not very well situated, I might add. We can't really see much. The camera is fairly level with the wing, but looking back, we can just see the guys now coming out of what is essentially Beckett's and through Chapel along the Hangar Straight. And already, you know, we can see Badowski is up a fair amount, 6 seconds, 0.6 of a second to Ruling, and behind him 2.7 seconds. So we're looking back 2.7 seconds to the next car. Cool. Wow, there we go, coming towards the end of the first lap. I wonder if we can get a better camera view here. Okay, so looking at Badowski there. Cool. Badowski, there we go. We just got someone called S, whose name is Sick. Well, Sick, why don't you actually go and do some admin and put your name in there, or a tag, please, rather than just being called S. Munching Skull, is there a secondary commentator today? I'm not even going to answer that. If you were here at the beginning, you'd know it. Let's move on. Mark Bean in 7th place. Mark Bean in 7th place out there in the Aston. Hacks in the McLaren in 8th place. Hacks 0.4 of a second behind Bean. And Hacks is at the tail end of this second group. And then in this leading this next group, we've got Alex Smith in the Freya Jaguar, and then Damien Vilk. Damien Vilk is now in 10th place. BB, can you take over for me in what you're seeing at the minute? I just need to do some real life admin.
Yep, sure. So we're seeing Damien Vilk and the cluster around him coming down the straight. Interesting choice of livery there. We're going with a sort of a burgundy shade here. And it'll be interesting to see whether the top group are also going to maintain that distance from the rest of the pack. It'll be interesting to see if someone ends up closing that gap. Now, there was some rain predicted for this race, but currently it's looking like the temperatures are good and everyone is cruising along and trying to find their place at the beginning of this race. Now, I've read that Lewis Hamilton had the fastest lap at 1 minute 29. I don't know if we'll have anyone else careering along to that record today, but it seems like there's a brilliant team of people who are all taking part today. Great numbers on the Spirit of series so far, and it'll be interesting to see what the next one brings us as well. We're seeing this group continuing to follow the track round. Damien Vilk leading this collection of people right here, followed by Bennett. Oh, clipping the side of the corner a little bit there, but people are giving their distance, and there doesn't seem to be too much of a pile-up on any of the corners so far. People are getting into the rhythm of this race. Oh, there's very closely following behind Vilk. We have... Oh, no. Vilk is moving away from the pack a little, but still closely followed by Bennett. Of course, it's always great to see that Races Without Borders keeps a strict hold on the ethics of racing, making sure that everyone can do the very best that they can and really push themselves so they can go for their next personal best.
Also, I'm really sorry about that, BB. Someone rang the doorbell, and in a house of 5 people, I'm the only one who heard it. I mean, how is that possible? It beggars belief. It really does. How's the... Oh, crikey. Who do we see there? I think that was Sean. I think that was Sean Bennett there. Simon Bennett, sorry, had a little bit of an off there. Damien now up into 8th place. Now, what happened there while I was away? Did he manage to take 2 places, or did 2 people fall off the track?
There was a little bit of a shift. I think Smith was behind at one point, but is now ahead. So this pack have been keeping a fairly tight formation.
Excellent.
Giving each other space, but yeah, pursuing each other nevertheless.
Awesome. Let's have a quick rundown from the rear. Quite a few to go through. Okay. Crikey, holy moly. So at the back there, Justin Burley currently running... Oh, crikey, holy moly. What's the matter with you, lad? Come on, put your foot down. He's at the very end there. Then we've got Paddock Dart, who's just got a stop-and-go penalty. 30 seconds in 36th. Then we've got Jamie Bird in 35th there, out in the McLaren. Then in 34th, we've got Soham Dio. 3.6 seconds, 4.2 seconds up, actually. We can already see there on the leaderboard there, and the 36th place, Tejas Padakar. He has already pitted. You can see the green bar there. That means that he's pitted, but he's also got a stop-and-go penalty. So who have we got next? We've now got Matthew Turner up 1.6 seconds on his last lap. His best lap has been a 2:06.090, so good for him. In 32nd place, we've got Aidan Britton. Aidan Britton out there in the Aston, just getting a little bit out of shape off of the circuit there. Then in 32nd place, we got Matthew Turner. Matthew Turner. In 31st, we've got Samuel Yane. I don't think it is Yane. I don't know why I say Yane. It just says Jane, so I don't think it's Jane though. It must be something. Samuel Yane. I'm going to say Yane. Then we've got Ihab Abbas in 30th place in a Jaguar that looks like it's just been used as a skip. Then we've got Mattia Cassotti. What a wonderful name. Cassotti. You come across some beautiful names in this hobby. It's what I like about it. There was such a thing as collecting names, writing them down with a book of special names. I think he'd go in it. Then in 28th place we've got Holmberg, who looks like he has I think he's pitting. I think he's pitted. He's obviously damaged, so he's pitted. Then we've got Dan Anderson in 27th place. Already now we're starting to see the field level out. My buddy, my training buddy, my mentor, my racing mentor, Dave Crew, helped me out a hell of a lot. Spent a lot of time with me and given me some pointers. None of it's made any difference. I'm still crap. Then, of course, we got RWB Charger out there at 25th. Then in front of him we've got Allegria. My pronunciation is awful, BB. What would you say that is?
Allegria?
Yeah, Allegria.
So, yeah.
Then we've got Jamie Downs in 23rd. We've got Zinn in 22nd, chasing down Tom Proctor. No. Rewind. It is. Why does J. Phillip not appear? Oh, there he is. Jerome Phillip in 21st place. Jerome leading that group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars there. In front of Jerome, he's got a fair way man to go. He's, plus 1 lap. So now 5.18 seconds in front of him is Cornelius Stamm. Cornelius currently... His best lap is a 2:06. Wrong. Best lap 2:02.5 out in the McLaren. 3 seconds behind Guarda. Antonio Guarda in 19th place. In front of Antonio Guarda, we've got S. Sick. In front of him, we've got Crookshanks, who we stayed with for our orientation lap around Silverstone. Thanks very much for that, Thomas. Really appreciated. Cos out there, smack bang in the middle of the field in 16th place in that rather drab looking Jaguar. What's the matter, Cos? Did you not have enough livery creation time and ran out of all 32 bits worth of colours and just decided on that? I mean, what sort of colour is that? Come on. In front of Cos, we've got Big Al in the Aston Martin. Then in front of him, Tom Proctor in the Bentley. I absolutely love this Bentley. Now, BB, let's talk about you. Enough of this so far. Have you ever been sim racing before?
No, never.
Are you ever likely to?
I've watched a fair bit of it. Maybe. I've done one lap on an empty track once, but yeah, I've got to. I'd need to do a fair bit more practice before I ever encountered anyone real.
Well, who knows? Maybe you might start something here and maybe get the ladies involved. There aren't enough ladies sim racing. There aren't enough ladies real racing, and I know it might sound a little bit OTT and exaggerating, but you, by being here today and by possibly commentating with us some more going forward, you are pioneering this. So, good for you is what I say. It's great to have you here with us. Now, what are your plans for the future? Are these lucky lads? Hopefully. Oh, Damian. Was that Damian then? Was that Damien?
Yep. It off.
I bet he's got you on loudspeaker. That's what it is. But I can hear him laugh in the background. Damien and BB are partners in real life, and so what we wouldn't want to be doing is putting Damien off. But clearly, that is a very poor line into Stowe. Come on, you can do better than that. As we said, Big Al in front of him, then Tom Proctor in 12th. Hacks in 11th place, being chased down by Proctor. BGP British actually chasing Hacks, sorry, do apologise. In front of him, Mad Al. Behind him, we've got Simon Bennett, then Alex Smith. Then in 6th place, we've got Jerome Ruling. And then in 5th place, we've got Mark Bean. Someone, back marker there, just giving way. Thank you. I think that was Mark Bean. In fact, perhaps he just had an off there. Clearly not giving way at this, 6 laps in. So Mark Bean in the Jaguar, and currently running in 5th place. 4th place, Marcus Badowski. 3rd place, Linus Allenby. 2nd place, Nepone. And out in the front, unusually, Speed Demon. Now, to give you some sort of idea of the time differential here, we're 7 laps in, and if we go on the rear wing with Speed Demon, look back there, BB, you won't be able to see anybody. We go wide shot, helicam, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
You can see there the pink monstrosity of Nepone coming down now, coming down Hanger Straight. That's the nearest person. This is Jake Moore. This is Speed Demon. He's our resident alien. The term alien is used for someone who's exceptionally fast with no explanation as to why they're so consistent and why they're so fast. There's no cheating going on. He's just better than anyone else.
Has he won several of the most recent races then?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I'm afraid if there is a league or event and Speed enters it, then you better bring an A game, essentially, or you better bring a AAA game. And if you're even not a member of RWB but you're fast out there, then even then you will find it hard to race with him. He's very talented. Are there faster people out there? Of course there are. But he's our fast one. Now, there are other people that are exceptionally fast in RWB, and you will get to know who they are. Nepone has certainly climbed from the middle of the sort of runners to the front ranks. Mark Bean is almost always in the top sort of quadrants. Right now, you can see he's, 6, 9, 10. He's a good 15 seconds behind the leader already in only, the 7th lap. Scrolling down, Hacks again, is someone who climbed from the middle to certainly the top quadrants in RWB. Hacks is in the yellow, is in the McLaren, the sunburst McLaren there, chasing down the yellow Aston. and he's very fast. He's quite fast in the open wheelers. So these are names that you will become familiar with, that you will almost always see at the front. Now, why, open rhetorical question, why do you think that that these guys have levelled out so far, that they're not close racing apart from a few small pockets?
That they've, I don't know, perhaps shown similar techniques on the corners, or they've got similar levels of skill from the practice rounds.
Yeah, it's it is that. Not setting you up to fail at all. I was fairly sort of confident you'd say that. It is that, and it is also the fact that this track is fairly big, 3.6 miles, and also there are 4 long straights around here. So it's not the straights where you're going to get the speed, it's the exit and how the exit is taken of the last corner before the straight. And with 4 straights around here, it doesn't take long before these cars, or before the grid, as they call it, starts to sort of stretch out almost like a slinky. And the gaps in between each of the spring being the sort of natural time differentiation between each of these guys in accordance with qualifying. So by the time you get to 10 laps, you're seeing gaps like we're seeing here. If this was a much sort of smaller, more complex track with less straights, you would find that actually these guys would be much, much closer together. Awesome. So there we go. Let's have a little jump in cockpit with speed here. Where is he now? So okay, so he's coming along the main start-finish straight and coming into T1. In fact, no, this is not T1, this is Cops, and now we're coming into Maggots and Beckett's. Now Jake's fastest time is a 2 minutes 2 minutes.183, and if we go down to the last of our runners tonight, or the slowest of our runners, we're pretty much looking at a 2:07, which would be Aidan Britton, a 2:07. So he's 7 seconds faster than the slowest person out there over 3 miles in a car of the same class and not far off the same performance, essentially. So that's fairly significant. It's always nice for sim racers to be in this position here, in this cockpit position, and actually see how he takes his lines and what he's doing with his throttle and so on and so on. So yeah. Now earlier on I asked you a question about commentating, BB. What's your aspirations? What would you like to get out of this? And thank you very much, by the way, for your wonderful poem at the beginning there, notwithstanding the fact that I had a workflow here of about 50 different things to press and to mute and to unmute, and oh my god, it was a nightmare. Thanks very much for doing that. You presented beautifully, as I'm sure everyone will tell you afterwards. Now back to sim racing. What do you want to get out of this? What can you give?
It's the challenge of being able to describe things live. I host a lot of performances in the real world, and yeah, I'm always looking for a challenge in terms of saying what I see and hosting events, basically. These days I've been watching a lot of this throughout the lockdown, so the opportunity came around and I thought let's see how this goes. Well,
look, our doors are open, and if you stay on the Tuesdays for a little while, you find your feet and you get comfortable. Very happy to guide you for whatever it is that you want to get out of this. You're very welcome to join us. I think actually we should be changing your name from No Brakes Blake to RWB No Brakes Blake. That's what I think we should be doing, and be expecting one of the admins to have a chat with you later on today and make that happen. But yeah, absolutely. Well, look, we're looking forward to you adding more value to our streams going forward. Absolutely. This is great stuff. So we're currently looking at Jerome Phillip. And I actually clicked on him because I thought he was doing. I thought he was closing with somebody. Now looking at Charger now, we're looking at Charger in the Aston, currently being challenged, it looks like, by Dave Crew. Dave Crew on the inside, coming into what is essentially Maggots and Beckett's, and Charger holding Dave Crew off on the wing with Charger. Looking back at Dave Crew, you can see Dave Crew in the Jaguar. They're juddering around the side of the road there as they're just coming out of what is Chapel Curve along down Hanger Straight, called Hanger Straight. Of course, there's hangers everywhere, and there were hangers everywhere. As they come down here, they come into a very tight right-hander, which they're just entering now, and then it extends down a slight incline. It's not a hill, it's just a little bit of an incline down into what is essentially the chicane. And I know Dave Crew is particularly quick around here. You can see that. Look at the speed. Commentator's curse as Charger gets a better exit. Charger is in the front there, Dave Crew behind. You know, holding Dave Crew off. We'll keep a close eye on that. I'm just looking at the gaps now. Dan Anderson holding off now. 0.7 of a second behind him is James Downs. Let's pay these guys a visit. BGB British, actually, just before he came off there, I think we could probably go back 10 seconds. Let's go back. BGB British just overtakes what is Simon Bennett and then goes deep into the corner, loses it, and Bennett says, thanks very much, I'll have that back. Cool. British extends away to start another lap. Now, interesting, Napone is still up there on his own. 10 seconds now after only 11 laps. So 11 laps, so almost a second a lap. This man, Jake Moore, is pulling out on Napone. Jake's last lap, 2 minutes 0.8, and Napone's, well, there you go, 2 minutes and 1 second 0.9. So yeah, 1 second per lap. Speed Demon is pulling away on Napone. Interesting. Okay, Linus Allenby, we can see him in the McLaren, has just gone through there. Thanks, cameraman, you're sacked. Chasing down Napone. So earlier on, when we looked at Napone, when we were looking at him down the Hanger Straight there, he was, someone's just gone off there in a Bentley. He was actually on his own, so I don't know whether he had a slight off or whether actually his pace is off. And by looking at Linus Allenby's timings, his last lap was a 201.161. Napone's was a 201.911. So it's a fair assessment that actually, probably as a result of some poor lines and Linus's pace, that he's caught up with Napone. So Linus Allenby then challenging Napone for second place, and right with him now with only 0.3 of a second behind him. Let's jump in the cockpit with him. Oh, that's a nice view, isn't it?
Do you expect to see much change in the top 5?
Is there much what, sorry?
Do you expect to see much change in the top 5 as the race continues?
I expect, bearing in mind they've got to do a pit stop, and in that pit stop they've got to change tyres. They're going to need about 40 seconds to come in and to change tyres. In fact, no, 30 seconds for a pit stop. So you see the car juddering around there. It's really challenging Napone now. Do I expect to see much change? I think it will level out. I think it will level out. Allenby looking at the inside, coming into Stowe, but Napone just got the nose on him. But coming down the hill now through Vale and into Club, the chicane for Club. But Napone, very good defensive line on the inside there, and very tight on the exit of the chicane and around Club now. But you can see Allenby there in the McLaren, all over Napone like a Dalek on a dustbin. Napone is really going to have to bring something to avoid that position being taken. A bit of a dodgy old move there that's just actually increased the time differential to Napone there. But Linus just showing Napone that he's there. He's not going away, and it looks like he's just taken him on the inside there. And surely he's got the drive coming out now. Surely the inside. And yes, Allenby now moves up into second place. Napone into third. Whew. Now Napone being challenged on the inside by Badowski. In cockpit with Badowski. Let's go in cockpit with Badowski. We're in cockpit with Badowski now. Napoleon on the right-hand side in the pink Aston. This is what happens when you spray an Aston Martin pink. Looking like Allenby just going into the pits there. So we're coming up to about 30 minutes now. It's an hour's race, BB. So depending on the strategy, you know, roughly around about now, halfway through, some of these guys will start to come in for the pits. By the time Badowski and Allenby comes back out, he will be back down into about 15th, 16th place. But of course, the rest then will have to pit and he'll naturally climb up. So going back to your other question, yeah, there will be some change in the top 5, but probably the positions that you're in, that you're seeing now, is probably what they'll similarly reflect. I think Badowski will take second place from Napoleon because his pace is faster, but I think Napoleon will still be in the top 5. Yeah, for sure. Let's have a look at Allenby because he went into the pits. So he's still in the pits at the minute. There's Allenby there, and his position won't be truly reflected until he goes past the sector line. But yeah, interesting point in YouTube chat. Someone saying that Napoleon can't handle pressure. I think you're right there. I think he's got better. You know, I mean, it's the devil you do and the devil you don't, baby. Here's the thing. This guy here, Napoleon. I think Napoleon is Portuguese. I think he is, or Spanish. Forgive me, Napoleon, if that's incorrect. But he's only a young guy. And when he first joined us, about 9-10 months ago, he was lucky to finish a complete lap in one piece. Then something happened, and all of a sudden, through lots of training and lots of time investing in the hobby, he then started firmly appearing in the middle of the fields. And then he spent some time with Speed Demon, teaming up in a sort of dual event, and took some top tips and some great training and coaching by Speed Demon. And now you'll be very lucky to see him out of the top sort of 4 or 5. So he's got the pace, he's got the ability. What he lacks is probably the experience in order to bring about that reliability of always finishing a race. Hence the reason why they're saying can't handle pressure. I don't think it's a case he can't handle pressure. I don't think it's a case if he can't handle pressure, Beer. I think that's probably a little bit too hard. I think he's just not experienced enough to be able to deal with the sort of pressures that can be placed upon him by more experienced racers. I mean, Badowski is very experienced, and we can see here with Badowski, you know, if we just go in cockpit with Badowski's very comfortable, not remotely concerned at all. He could stay hanging out the back of Napoleon like a dog. I was going to say a dog giving birth then, but I don't think that'd be appropriate. But this is RWB, not Channel 3 or BBC. Yeah, you know, Marco Badowski will quite happily just sit there very, very happily and wait for the right moment. And that's the thing that you'll see in sim racing, BB. It's not a mad rush to, you know, to clock in as many positions as possible. You come across people a bit like, well, I call them peregrines. They're just sitting there waiting for the pigeon to make a mistake, and then they just bang, they snap it up. And you can see there, you know, Napoleon was late breaking into that corner, and the same position, the same mistake that he made last time, and Badowski calculatedly, you know, commandingly just takes that position away from Napoleon. Yeah, cool. So, you haven't done any sim racing before, and this is your first time commentating. Notwithstanding the great bit of stuff you mentioned at the beginning there, what can you tell us any more about this track? Can you tell us any more about this track?
Well, it seems to be, yeah, it's got a long history, of course, as you mentioned before. It was the site of the RAF, central to racing in the UK, and it was specifically used for the Wellington bomber training. This kind of events that they have there, everything, Formula 1, 2, 3, Formula 4, historic racing. I guess that would be all of the vintage cars.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a fascinating one to watch. I don't know if you guys could do a simulation one of those. as well as they've got GT sports and national events there as well. I mentioned earlier that Lewis Hamilton's the fastest lap there was 1:29.243, and that was back in 2016. So that's what people are aiming for then, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean that was in a Formula One car, and that was during qualifying. But it does give you an idea, doesn't it? You know, the GT3 class clearly isn't an open wheeler for a start, but they're very fast cars. But I mean, the fastest you're going to get out of here in Sim World is about 2 minutes. It's not far off that in real world. 1:57, I think you're fine. Yeah, and a good 30 seconds quicker than that Formula One car, great circuit this historically. Now, earlier on, I made a little bit of a mistake. I said that this was the home and heart of motorsport in Great Britain, but it's not, is it?
No, it's actually the home is at Bexhill-on-Sea, which I believe is your hometown.
That's right, Bexhill-on-Sea, which is my hometown. That is the heart of British motor racing, and it's the heart of British motor. Well, you tell us, why is it the heart of British motor racing?
I'm not really too sure. I'm imagining it was either one of the first places or one of the most significant places that developed.
Yeah, I think we're just. Bless you. We got. I say again, we got microphone problems. You're warbling in and out a little bit there. Bexhill-on-Sea is the home of British motor racing. If you go and visit Bexhill-on-Sea, actually even says home of British motor racing. That's back because of 1896. The 8th Earl Delaware was the chairman of Dunlop at the time, and when the Automobile Club of Great Britain was formed, he was part of the board, and the first thing he said was, right, well, let's have our first race, and they've done it along Bexhill Seafront up to Galley Hill. So the home of British motor racing since 1896 is actually Bexhill-on-Sea in East Sussex. But you know what? The home of modern British motor racing is Silverstone, as is where our high is. No problem. No question about that. Cool. It is the first GP track, but at the end of the day, that's not what it peddles. It peddles that it's the home of British motor racing, and that's incorrect. BRDC sorted out. BRDC own this and have done since 1971. Current chairman, I believe, is David Coulthard, who's the current chairman. Cool. So we just seen Dave Crew over the past 5 minutes challenge Charger and eventually take Charger. You asked a question earlier on, BB, which is, did I expect the positions to change at the beginning? We can see Jake Moore is already still out on his own, 16 laps in front. He hasn't pitted yet, and you can tell that because of the orange bar next to the number there with the 1 in. It means he's got one pit that he's got to do. Alex Smith is also in second place, but he hasn't pitted either. So, these two here have got to pit, and in doing so, of course, Allenby will rise. Now, Allenby is challenging Napone on the leaderboard. There it is showing Napone in front of Allenby. So when they go over the next section, I think you'll find that should change. Sadly, it's not.
Reckon latest time? You reckon the latest time to pit would be, and is it almost too late?
I think probably about 15 minutes. I think 10 minutes perhaps. I think even when they go what they call going long, if they go long, which is usually about 3/4 of a race. I mean, I have seen some races where some people have taken it literally to the last lap and then pitted on the last lap. Personally, I just think that's rubbish. I've never seen a race where that's happened in real life, and I don't think it's much of an advantage out here, except someone like Speed Demon, who is so very, very quick, much quicker than everyone else. Quite boring, to be honest with you, to follow him, and quite boring, to be honest with you, for him, I expect. And I mean that with all respect. Is this a challenge to you if you're watching this live, or if you're someone who's come across our channel or our club? Yeah, it is. Why don't you come along and see if you can beat him? Because look, he's out there on his own. Why is he out there on his own? because no one's quick enough to race against him. Now that's not strictly true for quite a few people. Couple of Zero Force guys from the Sim Club there, they're pretty quick. They give him a run for his money, but in general terms, you know, he's not in the top quadrant, Speed Demon. He's in the top very small percentile. And even quick racers like Rigel don't even touch him. Audi doesn't come anywhere near him. Charger doesn't come anywhere near him. Beer, you're quite quick. You ain't nowhere near Speed. I mean, a lot of people aren't. You could sit in the cockpit with Speed, go around the track, and then at the end of it say, well, where does he make his speed up? He's not doing anything more different than I'm doing. Yet he does. So, and that is why, because we can't understand it, that is why in RWB we put him in our sort of alien box. Yeah. Cool. Napone then, out there in third place. He has pitted now. Alex Smith hasn't, and neither has Jake. Jake currently in the pits. He's got plenty of time there. He's got like 33 seconds on Napone before he needs to come out, and 54 seconds. 54 seconds on Alex Smith. So he can have a cup of tea. He can have a cup of tea, roll a cigarette, catch the sun, read a book, and then join the track, and he'll still be first. Look at that, you know. That's madness. Really good. Well done. Alex Smith now in the pits. Let's have a quick rundown, shall we, BB? Why don't we offer you the opportunity now, so that you all know in the background here, guys, BB is literally watching a stream in Discord because of the way in which we're feeding this. And the hope is going forward, as she gets more experience and more knowledge and more comfortable at a time of her own choosing, we'll then start to introduce her to some of these different information streams that she can see. But why don't we start from the top, and why don't you just give a quick mention of who it is and what lap they're on, or whatever it is. Why don't you use this time to to develop your sort of your chance to talk about whoever it is that you're looking at. We'll look at Speed Demon at the minute. We'll look at Jake Moore, Mr. Moore.
Yep, overtaking. I can't tell who he has just overtaken.
I think that's a back marker.
Yep, he is very comfortably in the lead. 18th lap. We can see. You can't see Napone behind at all. So that's a clear space we've got there. Oh, we're now moving down to Napone. Next to, is it that Allenby, I think, as well?
Yeah, there's Allenby. So the guy in front of Allenby that Napone has just gone past. See the guy in the Aston Martin behind Napone. If we look behind Napone now there, that will be a back marker. So Napone and then back to Allenby. So we were back to Allenby now. Yeah.
Yep, making up the speed on the straight there. Is that the Haggis straight, probably?
That is... yeah, in fact, no, that is... now. We're now coming into... crikey, we're coming into Luffield, aren't we? So, yeah, that was the Wellington straight. So we're going through Woodcote now. And we're coming up a little bit of a straight into Copse. So that's where we are at the minute with Allenby.
Yeah.
Let's go Marcus Badowski. I'll tell you what, why don't I lead and then you follow? And the rest of the guys are all willing you well, by the way. This is great stuff. So I'll mention it and then you follow. You know, this is something that you'd like to get into. We want you to get into it. So Marcus Badowski, currently 4th. He's on his 19th lap and he's 2.4 seconds, 2.7 seconds, sorry, behind Allenby. Okay, see what I've done there? Right, ruling.
Yep, ruling on who is coming up in 6th place on the 99th lap and 0.94 seconds ahead.
Excellent. 0.948 seconds behind Badowski, essentially. Yeah, so there's Badowski there. There's ruling there. So in 6th place, Mad Owl in the Bentley. Now Mad Owl is in the sort of the lead part, if you like, of the second group, because he's got 21 seconds, 21 and a half seconds. You can see that there up to Ruling. If we just very quickly have a look at Ruling. Look, Ruling is now coming around the 90 right, and then into the loop, whereas Mad Owl is now just going through what is essentially Copse. In fact, no, not Copse, sorry, Farm Curve and into Village. So, you know, he's got a fair way to go. And as we saw earlier on, it was, you know, plus 21 seconds. Now, we're not seeing that now because he hasn't gone through a sector timing. And this isn't live timing. Otherwise, those numbers will be constantly changing. These timings are put up there after sectors. There you go. So he comes into sector 2 now, 21.75 seconds in front. Simon Bennett. There you go, BB, all yours.
Okay, on the 61st lap, and that is a plus 1.150 away from Mad Owl.
Yeah, that's right. The number there, see the 61 there, that's just his car number. He's actually on the 20th lap at the minute. We can see that up at the top. So, and now when we get down to say where we can see Bean or Hacks now, it says plus 1 lap. That means that they're 1 lap behind. So they'd probably be on their 19th lap rather than, you know, lap 20. The amount of laps that we see at the top there is always relative to whoever's leading rather than anyone else in the field. Cool, excellent. Right, where were we now? Alex Smith. I think we've done Alex Smith. So Alex Smith currently 8th place, and we don't know. Yeah, there we go. 5 seconds. So if we jump in cockpit with him, 5 seconds in front of him will be Bennett. Bennett now just coming out of the chicane. There we go, you see. So Bennett just coming out of the chicane, Alex Smith just coming into the chicane, and the difference between the two is 5.23 seconds. Right, Mark Bean, all yours.
Yep, Mark Bean, place number 9 and 2.241 seconds ahead of A. Smith there.
2.24 seconds, that's right. Someone's saying Napone's screaming away now. Yeah, Napone is, well, I wouldn't say he's screaming away, but he is 3 seconds away now. So where he was being challenged earlier on by Allenby and Badowski and Ruling, you know, earlier on, Blake, you asked whether we expect to see some change there at the front. Well, I said probably unlikely. They might move a few places, but actually the people will be the same. But yeah, I do agree. Yeah, I mean, you know, 3 seconds in front. I don't know who is it said that says that. Who is it said that is screaming ahead? Helmet. Yeah, I mean, you can just see in the background there Allenby. You can just see it being that. Allenby behind him, and Badowski behind him, and then Ruling. So there's certainly a gap between Napone and Allenby, Badowski and Ruling, 3rd, 4th and 5th. And Napone has got 25.5 seconds to go before he catches up with Speed Demon. And he won't, because we know that Speed Demon is pulling out, you know, at least a second a lap. So with 15 minutes left to go, with 2-minute laps, that's about 7-8 laps possibly. So I'm expecting, you know, another 8 seconds on there. So at the end of this, he'll be 32 seconds in front. Speed Demon will be 32 seconds in front. Crikey. Let's see if we can capture any battles. As a lot of the guys know, the director is not good for that. I think Tejas here just managed to capture that. I think as he's just snuck in there. I think Jamie Bird, no, this is wrong. I think Aidan Britton is on his own. But Soam Dio is being challenged by Aidan Britton. Aidan Britton in fact that's wrong as well, sorry guys, you don't know about this, but obviously the race director is very limited, the information I'm seeing here, and it's not as good as it could be. We do have a plan in RWB, ladies and gents, to dabble around with it. We've got some super intelligent people, with an IQ of more than 3, which is my own, to be able to refine what data it is that we're looking at here. Matt Turner out there in 24th. He's being challenged by Cassotti, who's only 0.9 of a second behind him. It says 1.02. Remember, those timings only change on the sector as they cross the sector. I could, though, change that. Let's put it on that for a little while. What we're looking at now is we're looking at real-time timings. Rather than the whole of the positions. I think that's probably... Oh, crikey, straight over. Straight over. He's fine, he joins. So, Jake Moore now currently amongst back markers. In front of him you can see his Charger. Charger is in the Aston. And Charger should give a demonstration of how to move aside. Charger is now what we call back marker, BB. Charger is currently 17th, but he's right in front of the leader, as the leader has gone all the way through the track and through all the different races. And so at an appropriate time, Charger will move out of the way in order to allow Speed Demon to pass. But he's got 1.1 seconds. We'll see that will slowly close, 0.8. And Silverstone, there's plenty of places for you to get out the way, essentially, but the onus is always on the faster to get past the slower. Where the slower can, they should move off the racing line. If that's not going to, if there's plenty of space, and if that's not going to, jeopardise anyone else. Otherwise, to be perfectly honest with you, almost like a multi-class race, they should allow the faster ones to pass them at an appropriate place. And there is a good example. Charger moved off of the racing line, let him have it. Cool. So Charger allowing Speed Demon to pass. Speed Demon still in first place. Napone still in second place. We can see better now the timings there. 2 seconds behind to Allenby. Allenby here in third place. In front of him he's got a back marker. Just gone off. We can just see there Holmberg just gone off. Or Holmberg gone off there actually. Crikey, holy moly. Badowski behind Allenby. Behind Badowski is Ruling. So these second, third and fourth and fifth we've looked at. This three here, third, fourth and fifth, they're in the same sort of area. It seems that Napone is almost in an area of his own, but look, I said that, didn't I? But look, minus 1.8 seconds. So Allenby's got almost 2 seconds to catch up to Napone. Towards the end of the race, we'll flip this back to the main timings again. Remember, I said the Speed Demon should be about 32 seconds in front, notwithstanding back markers, etc. Damien, here we go, all yours.
Yeah, here we have Damien in 12th position, so that's kind of the middle position there, waiting for the timing to pop up there as well, but he's close by to Proctor and back marker ahead of him as well as Theo.
Yeah.
Heading up to take the corner.
Can you identify where he is around the track? Let me help you. Let me get you set up. Perhaps you can take us around. So this is Damien. He's just coming into the chicane. He's just going around now what is Club Corner. So he's along a main start-finish straight, or the old start-finish straight. So the corner in front of him is Abbey. Over to you.
Okay, heading down the straight towards Abbey. I'm taking it into the next area, which is called Farm. Taking it neatly round the corner there. And then heading through into the loop, I think.
Yep, that's right.
And up towards Aintree. Heading into another new straight where he'll be able to pick up that pace again.
Yep, Wellington Straight, where Vickers Wellingtons were during the war. Now we're into Brooklands.
but this is coming up towards the left field, the particularly tight corner there. And he's heading right now into Woodcote for another straight, so he'll be able to pick up even more pace for the crop. Fairly clear in front of him, not too many challenges ahead of him from what we can see right here. Now he's heading towards Maggots and Beckett.
That's right.
Those slight curves there, which we saw quite a few cars rolling off if you have a bit too much pace from the previous race. And now he's back onto Hanger Straight.
Yep, down Hanger Straight.
He's chasing someone ahead of him now. We just thought sight was the first person ahead of him. That would be SDO.
Yes, that's right. Soam Dio, who's a back marker because he's blue, and we can see the position on the left-hand side there. So he's 25th. Damien now coming into the chicane, exiting the chicane now. Exiting the chicane, Marlene. Exiting the chicane into club, and then along to the back, the main straight again. Yeah, that was really good. It's quite hard, isn't it? It's not easy. It's quite difficult to be able to call the corners. You've done a great job there. Well done. Let's move on to somebody else. Let's look at the timings here. 7 minutes 40 seconds left to go. Quick rundown from the top. Jake Moore in first place. Jake's last lap was a 1:59.8. 1:59.8. Goodness gracious me. 1:59.8 was Jake's last lap. In second place is Napone. Napone now being challenged by Allenby, who's clawed back what is essentially 1.1, 1.2 seconds off of Napone's. And actually we saw at one point Napone was 3 seconds in front, then 2 seconds. Yeah, with 7 minutes left of the race, it's a fair assessment that Allenby will be applying more pressure over the next couple of laps. Linus Allenby in third place, as we've just said, has clawed back the time to Napone and will be placing on the pressure to Napone in, now really. But as I said, they'll be toe-to-toe coming the end of 1-2 laps at the most. Badowski in fourth place, don't discount him in any way, shape or form. That would be a silly thing to do. And then of course Jerome Ruling, who also is maintaining this top pace. So this top five, whoa, back marker there, back marker, I think that's Hacks and Bird on the outside in the I think that was Hacks that came off there at Luffield, and Bird that was wide at Luffield to allow the racers to take the race in line, as they just exited out of Woodcote and on the straight now. So and someone in the pits there as well. I think everyone's now pitted. Let's check. Yeah, it looks like everyone's pitted, doesn't it? Yeah, everyone's pitted. Quick shout out to Casotti. We watched you during the practice and the qualifying, and your ping is, way up there, so it might be worth you looking at that, especially if people will start seeing rubber banding and so forth. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Xerax, one of our Xerax, by the way, BB Blake, is RWB sponsor, and of course, as is all with all our series, we're sponsored by RacingSimTools.com. Do you know how to set up does Damien know how to set up his car when he sim races?
What you mean, all the different adjustments, yeah.
Yeah, all the different adjustments and things like that. Does he know what they do and stuff?
Yeah, see that happening, and with different types of cars, I know they've tested out several different cars to see how they work. I think that ended up going with, the McLaren.
I think I got most of that. So basically, he does know how to set it up. The only reason why I'm saying that, BB, is because your mic is dropping in and out. There's a bit of warbling going along. Usually, it sounds like you're on Wi-Fi, in which case it's probably why. Yeah, good. I'm glad he knows how to set up his car up. But if you don't know how to set your car up and you're watching this, then you need to get a hold of the app called Racing Sim Tools. It will Will it make you faster? No, it won't. But it will make you more assured. It will give you more confidence, and that itself will probably make you faster. The more time you invest in understanding how your car works, the faster you will be, and the way in which you invest the time and energy and effort into that is by using an application like Racing Sim Tools. Come along, Xerax is a top man, always willing to help, and he's got plenty of groupies, plenty of RST groupies who will help you in their own Discord, and of course their manuals. So if you're not sure what it is that you're looking at, they're there to help you, and actually it takes out all of the sort of complex engineering out of setting up a car, and really, to be perfectly honest with you, makes it super simple. With just a little bit of understanding, you can find out exactly what your car's doing and how to set that car up to how you want it for that particular track. RacingSimTools.com, go along and buy it. It's worth less than a cup of tea in Wimpy. Is Wimpy still going?
I haven't seen one of them in a while.
I don't even know why I said Wimpy. Wimpy. Where did that come from? Wimpy. Okay.
You rhymed it with food.
Yeah. Jake Moore, out there in first place. Let's stay with him in 2.5 minutes left of the race. Let's just stay with him to see the time differential to Nippon. I think it will be around about 30 seconds. Let's have a look. 30 seconds. There we go. 30.873 seconds. As I said, about 32.4 seconds he'll be, in my view, before at the end of this race. So Nippon is not catching Speed Demon up, but I tell you who is. Those guys there, Allenby, Badowski and Ruling, they're all now catching Nippon up. So it is a fair assessment to say that Nippon is holding these up. But that's not to say that he doesn't deserve the position he's in. Bloody hell, of course he does. But what Nippon will be doing now, BB, is driving defensively. And you'll notice that when they come into the corners, that driving defensively doesn't mean driving all over the track like a snake and stopping them people from passing. There are certain rules in racing called racecraft rules, and a bit like a game of pool around the world, various different clubs will have a slight variation on what those rules are. But in general terms, you can't change your position when in the braking zone of a corner, but you can move position as many times as you like in between the braking points, provided that isn't, I said, as many times as you like. Well, you can't. You can move it once. So he's on the inside, for example. He's in the braking zone. What he can't do is just, go into Allenby. Allenby's on the inside here. He's got that corner from Nippon. Allenby now moves up into second place. So, Nippon done the right thing by going on the inside into the chicane. But, a bit like a game of snooker, Allenby's, 3 places in front, and he's not looking at, the entry into the chicane. He's looking at the exit, and that's why Nippon lost out in that position. And I refer back to what I said earlier on. This is not that he loses his bottle, it's just experience. Oh, come on, there's no need for that at all. Let's go back, let's have a quick look. So who are we with? I'll tell you who we're with. We're with oh my goodness gracious me. Oh, thank you. So we're with my race director's gone mad. I think we're with, that's Speed Demon, isn't it? No, that's not Speed Demon. That is Badowski. We're looking at Badowski. Badowski looking at the inside, just taps Nippon, and then Padakar, I think, just hit Nippon then. What does that... I think that's a racing incident. Normally you could say a dive bomb is when someone dives into the inside of a corner. That wasn't a dive bomb. Nippon could clearly see that he was there. I think he took the inside line there. I think it was just unfortunate. But actually at their level you would expect them to push. You want them to push. They're racing after all. But that was probably a silly little mistake, because someone's just gone straight into the wall there, hit by one of the front runners. So Jake Moore now on his last lap. His last lap, by the way, was a 2 minutes, 0.291 seconds. His best lap being a 1:59. So he's not dropped off of pace. He has, you know, not got any slower the whole race. And he's on his last lap now. The last lap of the race. Behind him, Allenby, Ruling, Napone, Badowski, Mad Al, Bennett, Smith, Audi, Proctor, Vilk, Al, Garda, Bean, Anderson, Charger, Stam, Zinn, Hacks, Cassotti, Holmberg, Cruikshanks, and Turner. Jake Moore, Linus Allenby in second place. He's a good 30. Well, it would have been 32.5 seconds, wouldn't it? But so now it's going to be significantly more. Well, actually, no. That differential should be the same for him. Be interesting to see whether he would be faster than Napone, which is not showing. It is showing on my director. I think it's 0.8 of a second quicker per lap, which means that in theory, Jake will be about 31.5 seconds in front of him at the very end. So Jake has crossed the line in first place. Let's see the differential now as Allenby now comes across the start finish straight. And 36 seconds. Good form. I think that's probably caused by the extra time there, caused by the little battle that he had. And actually, when you're fighting for position, you can actually lose time. Ironically, people think it's faster. It's not. If you're defending, then you're not going the fastest line, and in doing so, you'll be slower. It's the devil you do and the devil you don't, essentially. Good racing there from these, particularly the top 5. Mad Al currently in 6th place. I think he'll be coming in to take his 6th place, or is he taking it? No, my race director is frozen. Oh no, it's back again. Yeah, he's quite a way down, isn't he? He's going through Maggots and Beckett's at the minute. I think he's actually just on a warm down lap. So there we go. Jake Moore in first place. Second place, Linus Allenby. Third place, Ruling. People are now doing donuts and things. Napone in fourth place. Well done, Napone. You know, you were losing time on Jake. That's obvious. But you were also losing time on the 3 that were behind you, which was Allenby, Badowski and Ruling. And in doing that, that's obviously where you had the 3-way battle there. But you finished 4th place. That's very respectable. You had a great race. Good for you. Marcus Badowski in 5th place. Mad Al in 6th place. I know you'll be very pleased with that. Well earned. Bennett in 7th place. Alex Smith in 8th. Audi will be pleased with 9th place. I know. Well done, Audi. Proctor in 10th place. Damien in 11th place. Hurrah! He'll be very happy with that. I think he's happy, BB. He's doing donuts.
Yep. Victory swells.
I think you might have to have words with him. That might cost a fair old bit in tyres. Big Al in 12th place. Well done. Garda in 13th place. Mark Bean in 14th place. Unusual to see you there, Mark, but you're in the Jaguar, so I'm willing to bet that you've learnt a lot from taking that old girl out for a spin tonight. Anderson in 15th place. Charger was 16th. I know you'll be pleased with that, considering there was 38 that started. And then we've got Zinn in 16th place. Hacks in 17th place, who was out there. I think he was out in the McLaren. Yeah, unusual, I think. But actually, he'll be the first to say you only have to have one little off, and that's it. And we did see that he had an off earlier on. 18th place was Cassotti. 19th was Holmberg. 20th place, sorry, 9th, well, now it's all changing. So anyway, there we go. So a great little race. Well, I enjoyed that. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it's brilliant. There was that battle for the top 5 places, which we saw throughout, and then lots of other challenges throughout. And yeah, seemingly, unless we missed it all, lots of clean racing, which is what you're all about. Awesome.
How do you fancy doing a quick interview now, asking someone how they've done?
Yeah, sure.
Well, let's drag the leader in. Speed, welcome to the old commentary box, old friend. You won that race, the Spirit of Great Britain. Just going to hand you over to BB, No Brakes Blake, to just ask for a few words from you on that race and how you found it. BB, over to you.
Right, well, congratulations to you, Speed Demon, Jay Moore. How did you find that race? Did anything unexpected happen? Was everything as planned?
Yes, my headset died with about 15 minutes to go. That's why I dropped back about 7 seconds. That's why I was going really slow on one of the laps. I was trying to plug it in and charge it up and turn it on all at the same time. It went okay.
Brilliant. And how did you find the track? Was it one you were very familiar with or one that you had to study up on?
I'm familiar with most tracks in any racing game, so it wasn't a track that I had to learn.
Is it true that you have 3 tracks and a donut for breakfast every morning?
Porridge.
Is it true?
No.
Good stuff. Great. Thanks very much, Jake. You can disappear now. I know you've got a spaceship to catch, and I know you've got a spaceship to catch and places to go. BB, well done. That was your introduction to RWB tonight in Damien's Spirit of Great Britain race. A lot to take in, I know, but you know what? I have no doubt that people will be reaching out to you this evening. Certainly in RWB, you'll be getting messages, I can assure you. For those of you still watching on the YouTube, please give some words of encouragement to BB. We want her to come back and we want her to grow this hobby of hers. She's brand new in, so her skills in 6 months' time in commentating will be as a result of the feedback that you give her. This is very, very important. So please let her know that she's done well tonight just by coming on, by speaking with you, and by giving as much feedback and value to the stream as possible. And I'm really pleased for you. I think you've had a good first showing. Well done.
Oh, thank you for the warm welcome. And yeah, it's been exciting seeing how the game progressed and trying to learn as I go on the hoof what's going on and how things develop.
Yeah, you know what? I think bearing in mind that you're just looking at the screen, you haven't got that data there. You've got the track sheet and so forth. We'll have a chat afterwards, but perhaps it might be worthwhile you having a look at a different sim. Or I'll have a chat with the super wizards in RWB and see whether we can't create something where you can see the sorts of things that I can see, etc. And that might be able to help you going forward. Well, I know it will. Of course it will. Brilliant. Well done, BB. Thank you very much for the poem at the beginning. I know the guys are going to enjoy listening to that. And I'm going to say at the final thing now. Final thing, please feed back to her and let her know that she's welcome and let her know that you value her input. That is very, very important. We are exceptionally lucky. There aren't enough female commentators, there aren't enough ladies doing this, and she's stepped up to the mark. So we all owe her for our support. So please do that. Great. Listen, the final thing I'm going to say is this Saturday is the GT4 second round. Before that, of course, is Friday is the final DTM. So make sure you join me for that. Where are we? Let me just have a quick reminder. Can someone remind me in YouTube, or have I got to go and find it? Friday. Of course, we're at Hockenheim. We're at Hockenheim. Yeah, that is the final round. Hockenheim. And on Friday, we're on the second round of the GT4 League, and that is at Silverstone. So, brilliant. We're back here. Oh, bloody hell. You couldn't make it up, could you? Marvellous. Thank you, BB, for joining me. I look forward to next Tuesday and any other time you want to commentate with us, and always willing to help you. And I know the boys are going to reach out to you and welcome you to RWB. So without further ado, any last words from you?
Yeah, no, great to see it all. Great racing from everyone. And yeah, great to learn about this community and how you guys all support each other's racing and believe in getting everything better.
Excellent. Race clean, race fair, race for position in that order. And you know what we say? Don't race alone, Race RWB. Till Friday then. Bye-bye.